Okay, do we want to make a start?
Sure, Jonathan, can I just give a couple of housekeeping things?
Yes. Yeah, crack on, John.
Just to say, everybody, you are all muted by default. If you do wish to say something, it is possible to do that. If you just within Zoom, in the chat box, send a message saying that you want to be unmuted. I can unmute you for that to happen. It's just to stop lots of noise that makes it difficult for everybody to be able to hear in the meeting. And the other thing, just to make everybody aware of, is this meeting is being recorded, so that it may be possible, if we felt it was appropriate, to be able to share the content for those who couldn't watch it afterwards. So just please be aware of that. Other than that, Jonathan, thank you.
Thank you, John. And John, thanks very much for all the effort you've put into getting the technology working for tonight from Young Melksham. Okay, good evening, everybody. I'm Jonathan Seed and I'm the Chairman of Melksham Area Board. Welcome to what is the first Area Board Zoom meeting. It's a community briefing and we're using a professional version of Zoom hosted by Young Melksham. I need to emphasise that this is not a decision-making meeting for a number of technical reasons, but we are, as an area board, quite pleased that we've been able to get off the ground some form of community engagement during these dreadful times. Just to emphasise something that John said and to pull it back into the democratic way of proceeding, the muting and asking to be unmute is no different to putting your hand up in a public meeting. There's nothing sinister about it. It's just simply as a way of getting everybody to be able to speak one at a time. Well, we set an agenda, and the agenda has as an agenda first item announcements. And the first announcement is on the Melksham Neighbourhood Plan. There is a consultation update for those who've got the agenda, and we can send agendas to anybody who would like them. This is the Melksham Neighbourhood Plan is now out for public consultation on the draft for those who work, live or run a business in the plan area, which is Melksham town and Melksham without parish areas, and it's important for residents to take part in and inform the final plan. This is a 6-week consultation from Monday the 1st of June to Monday the 13th of July, and further details are available from both the town or parish councils. Moving on to Melksham Highways. There's a highways report again for those who've got the agenda, with a lot of detail on what actually is happening in the county. But we've extracted what is going on in Melksham at the moment. And just to update you, the crossing refurbishment at the A50 350 Beanacre Road near Dunsh Lane has now been completed. Discussions are continuing with the Department of Transport on the major schemes that are taking part in the area, particularly the A350 Chippenham improvements. And there's a significant amount of ongoing work involving highways officers and our contractors. The Melksham Bypass remains a large local major scheme. The contractors Atkins are preparing cost estimates for an initial route review study to be undertaken in line with the scope and development for the main outline business case. So that is proceeding. The A350 Farmers Roundabout, additional signal work involving a high pole replacement and additional sensors is programmed and should have been completed by now. Yarnbrook and West Ashton Relief Road, just outside our area, but the business case has been developed for this relief road, and it's progressing nicely, and submissions are now being received for technical approval. And finally, which will be a huge relief to many of us, is that the Town Bridge barrier work is now complete after a very long time of a one-way system. So that is where we are with our highways update. An announcement on celebrating Aid Wiltshire. £385,000 from the National Lottery Community Fund project has been given to improve health and well-being of older people living in isolation in Wiltshire, and a 5-year programme of activities has been organised through the Melksham Music Centre. But the main thing is that the Celebrating Aid Wiltshire is open for bids. And I do have one negative to report. The Youth Intervention Project, which we were hoping to give you an update on, sadly, there has been no progress on that, but we are pushing for some progress on that. Moving now to the report of the moment, which is the Melksham COVID-19 community response. I can say that, having looked around the county, we are in the area an exemplar of how to do this as a whole community area. And it's been great to see town, parishes pulling together and helping each other. And I can say that that is not necessarily the case elsewhere. So I'm going to hand over to Councillor John Hubbard now to take this area forward.
I'm just going to take this straight into a film that shows some of the work that has been being done. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Diana Gullis and I became a Melksham community volunteer to help support people in the vulnerable groups through this COVID-19 crisis. I've been collecting medicines from pharmacies and delivering them to people's homes, and it feels amazing to be part of this community group.
Hi, my name is Jo. I've been volunteering with the Melksham Community Group. I've enjoyed doing it because it's meant that I can actually get out and about and do a bit more exercise, but mainly because it's meant that I can do my bit towards helping with the whole COVID-19 thing.
Hi, I'm Linda. I'm a Melksham community volunteer. I've been able to get out into the community and deliver prescriptions. I've been walking a lady's guide dog every day of the week because she's been unable to get out. The response to me going out and delivering these prescriptions and doing this dog walking has been amazing. People are so incredibly grateful. The people running this group are phenomenal, and they have been doing a wonderful job, so thank you.
Hi, John Marable, happy to help with the community in delivering shopping from Spa Road Shop on in Melksham, and also as prescriptions for Melksham community.
My name's Ian Bagnall, I live in Beanacre. I've done a few prescription runs around in Atworth, Whitley, etc. Met some really nice people. One gentleman in particular was really nice and very kindly gave me a pot of homemade marmalade, which was really, really kind of him. And I just look forward to doing my fair share of prescription runs or whatever I can over the coming weeks as we go through this crazy time.
Hi, I'm Rachel and I've been doing the prescription runs as well. I got into it because my father-in-law had started volunteering. It seemed like a really great initiative. People have been really grateful, and it's a great way to get connected with the local area and really feel like you're doing your bit to help.
Hello, my name's Julie. I just wanted to say a few words about volunteering since the lockdown. So I currently shop on a regular basis for 5 people who are in isolation due to medical conditions or age, who really won't be able to go out without the support of the hub that has been set up. So they really are appreciative, really. That a lot of them feel quite embarrassed because they feel that it's putting people out, but generally they are words like, you know, you're marvellous, how do you do this and still look after your family? You know, we couldn't get by without what you're doing for us, and you know, how can we ever repay you? But generally they really are very, very grateful. And also, you know, for myself it's very rewarding, and I really enjoy doing it, really have.
Hi, I'm Jane Smith. I do phone call support to 2 people regularly. One is an actual call, the other one is text, and also I'm part of a chat with the text lady on WhatsApp with some younger people, and it's worked very well, thank you. My phone lady says we always end having a laugh. Good luck with it all, and thank you very much.
Hi, my name's Angie, and I'd like to give a huge shout out to Melksham Community for providing the wonderful service that they have over the last couple of weeks to the residents in Melksham. I've been lucky enough to be a volunteer doing some regular shopping trips for a couple of vulnerable adults. It's been a great experience, very humbled by the gratitude that has been shown by them. And last week it did make me smile when one of my gentlemen referred to me as being his little guardian angel.
I volunteered for the Melksham Community Group for 3 reasons. Firstly, I had the means. As a taxi driver, I got the vehicle to travel around. Secondly, the opportunity, with obviously no work around at the moment. And thirdly, because of social conscience, the government are paying me to stay at home, so I'm in a better position than most people, so it seems a no-brainer to give something back. And I've enjoyed every minute, and it's nice to get a positive reaction from everyone that I deal with.
Hi, my name is Lee Bolton and I'm a Melksham Support Group volunteer. I am a furloughed teacher and tutor and I live in Bower Hill. As I haven't been called upon by the Royal Voluntary Service, I'm only too glad to offer my support to the local community in Melksham. I mainly help deliver prescriptions to the vulnerable and self-isolating about 2 or 3 times a week. to places like Bower Hill and Sean Cleve and other Melksham areas. All the support group coordinators in the Melksham support group team work really hard, like Teresa, Miriam, Patsy and John, for example. I would only be too pleased to continue volunteering my help long after the lockdown, and I hope this group continues because it's vital work that they provide, helping others.
Hi, I'm Steve, your volunteer from the Melksham Community Hub. I decided to help out at this most vulnerable time to protect those who are vulnerable and who need to self-isolate for whatever reason. I have collected parcels and delivered them to the relevant places, picked up prescriptions, delivered them to the hub and also to people's addresses. We'll be collecting food parcels from the food bank and distributing. People think we are marvellous and very much appreciate what we do.
Hi everyone, I'm Chris and I've been part of the MCST since 1st of April after being made furloughed. I joined for two reasons: one, to stay busy, not get fat, and second, to give back to our local community. Feedback's been fantastic. We've had tears of sadness, tears of joy, so much thanks, and apparently we're all superheroes, so if we could have some capes to go with our t-shirts, that would be awesome.
Hi, my name's Karen. I'm a Melksham Community Support volunteer. I have been since the lockdown pretty much began. I have done shopping for two people on a regular basis. One is for a lovely gentleman who lives in Melksham and the other is for a lovely couple who live in Whitley. I've also done the odd shopping trip for other people, and I've also done some prescription runs.
Hello, my name is Howard and with my wife Helen have lived in Melksham nearly 2 years. We both felt we wanted to be useful to our community during this current crisis. We have shopped, collected, delivered prescriptions and food parcels. We have also telephoned people unable to go out during the lockdown. The people we have helped have always been very grateful for the assistance we've provided. We've enjoyed making the new contacts. A positive note from all of this is it feels like the community is pulled together to get through. We are hopeful that this spirit will continue beyond the crisis and that government, both local and nationally, will realise its value and support our group's effort both in words and with resources. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Tina Eriksson, and over the past month I've helped with prescription collection and food bank deliveries. I now do a regular food bank collection and delivery to 4 households at Bower Hill who really appreciate the support they're getting. I've enjoyed helping others during this difficult time whilst currently not being able to work myself, so thanks.
Hi, my name is Safi and I'm a volunteer in the Melksham Community Support Group. I've carried out a number of roles, from leaflet distribution to pharmacy collection, prescription deliveries and carrying out shopping for our most elderly and vulnerable in our community. It's been an absolute pleasure to be involved. It's great when you can just do something small for somebody but actually mean so much to them, and just to see the joy in their face when you drop off that shopping to them or their prescription. However, it has highlighted that this is something that is going to be ongoing, and these people will continue to need our support within the community. And I will certainly make sure that I am involved as much as I possibly can. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Rod from Atworth. I'd like to say a big thank you to Melksham for sending this out, volunteering to sending someone to do our shopping. I'm 77, my wife It's younger than me, I won't say her age. And I'd like to say a big thank you for the gentleman who's doing our shopping every week. He does it usually on a Friday. I like the Saturday paper, which I said to him, and he's collecting that and bringing it to my door. And also on a Wednesday. I'd like to say thank you to the people who organise this and the people who carrying it out. Thank you very much, Alan, for all your kind help of everything you're doing for us. It's very much appreciated. And I think there's a lot of people who are very frightened of going out, mixing, and it's the thing that we've got to look after ourselves, everybody, and also for the national health.
So that's our report back. With me, or with us online, and I'm just in the process of unmuting them both, is Linda Roberts, the Melksham Town Clerk, and Teresa Strange, the Melksham About Parish Clerk, who would be happy to join in answering any questions. But just before we do that, could I just say that the help that has come in from the team at the Town Council and the Parish Council, and the leadership from the two clerks in dedicating their staff to supporting this project is what has made this possible. And I want to go on record and give a huge thank you to every member who works for both councils for all the work that they have done. Running that hub is hard work, and they have done an outstanding job. So thank you to them, but I'll throw it open, Jonathan, if any members have got questions, or if anybody else has got something they want to ask. Hit something on the chat and I can unmute you.
Okay, questions?
Can I come in just quickly? It's less of a question, more to say that, yeah, one of the things that wasn't mentioned on the video, I've been volunteering and doing some shopping for a fella up in Whitley, but what I particularly enjoyed about it is having a good chat. It's so good to go along, see somebody who doesn't see a huge amount of contact, you know, which is not on screen, and then just have a good old conversation, getting to know someone. And that's one of the things I, as a volunteer, have particularly enjoyed with this. But I'll let you get back on now.
Thank you very much for that, Phil. Anyone else want to come in on that? No?
I can see Safi raving at me. So, if with your permission, Jonathan, I'll
yeah. Let's bring people in.
I'll try and unmute them.
There you go. Thank you. Yeah, no, it's been. I will back Philip up on that. I mean, it's that whole contact, and this is probably actually more vital than necessarily the shopping and things. It's that actually talking to somebody and then having somebody to just interact with is, you know, it's been very emotional at times as well. I mean, I had a visit with somebody I did some shopping for today, and today's the first time in 3 or 4 visits to her that she's really opened up to me, and we've really sat and had, with social distance, but, you know, good chat. And it meant so much to her, where she was, you know, she's like, well, you come back next week at the same time. And it's, and that is just such a compelling thing, but it is something that's, I think, regardless of COVID, this is something that's been happening for, you know, this support needs to continue out of COVID and for years to come. These people are, unfortunately, are existing in our society, and they need our help.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful community spirit, and that's what a crisis quite often produces. Anybody else want to join in?
Hang on, Sue. There you go. Sue, you're on.
All right. Right, okay. I mean, I just really want to reiterate what Safi's just said. You know, I do Melksham Community Meals, and I've been in contact with them in lots of different ways. And the thing they're missing more than the food, they say they're coping with the meals. They're getting lots of farm foods, or they're getting ready meals. But they say the thing they're missing most is the contact, is the social side of the meals. I've got 65 people I'm in contact with, and they're all, there's more than that meals, I haven't got more, but the majority of them come for the social side of it. And it's just something that we've got to address, really. These people were lonely before COVID. We don't want to be lonely after.
Yeah, and I think isolation and loneliness is something which we're really picking up the more of the community response is being undertaken.
This is very true, Jonathan. This is very true, Jonathan. I think that, and I'm sure Teresa and Linda might want to come in on this, but one of the things one of the ways we've structured the service is so that when we talk to someone who phones up and says perhaps they want their prescription collected or there's some shopping that needs doing, we try and have a conversation with those people, and quite often we find additional needs, and probably the biggest growing need we're finding, particularly as lockdown goes on, is social isolation and the fact that people are in their home, they are alone, and I think a really important thing to say is this isn't just older people. There are people of all ages who are finding themselves having to either shield or just be locked at home and are really struggling with it. I don't know, Teresa, Linda, if there's anything you want to add on that.
I think it's very humbling working on it and coordinating volunteers to match people's needs. But speaking to people, you draw out an awful lot of other things. They might just ring up for a prescription or a bit of shopping, but because the team really care about the people they're talking to, they can normally extract things as well that they're missing, and they're too shy or they don't want to ask for any more help. So we reassure them. A couple of cases we've reported to, we've had to do safeguarding issues. We've made sure that people are looked after and are safe. One of the friendly phone calls, well, several of the friendly phone calls, relationships are developing where they're hooking up. They want to meet after this is all over. So the ongoing benefit of people who have been isolated, probably before COVID ever happened, we've addressed some of that. And one friendly phone call led to me helping a girl who was his carer, who was actually going without food herself because she couldn't afford to feed her children who had some needs. So it's not just a question of taking the details over the phone. It's about listening and caring and providing the support that everybody needs.
Okay. John, is there anyone else you want to bring in from the group?
Well, I'm scanning the screen. I've got to flick between two pages of screen. So if there is anybody who's wanting to speak, please do wave, and I will bring you in. But I'm not seeing anyone else at the moment who's waving at me. I think just one final thing to add, if I could, Jonathan, what we couldn't capture in that film, because it already went on probably 10 minutes longer than we originally planned it for, but there was content we just couldn't fit in despite the fact we wanted to, is first of all really clarifying that geographical area that's being covered. The great thing that both councils, the town and the parish council and the area board, said when we started was this was a boundaryless service. And we haven't cared where people live when they're, well, that's not entirely true. When someone from Warminster asked us to collect their prescription, we did pass that one on. But in the sort of surrounding area of Melksham, we've not cared where people have lived. So we've been out of Melksham area, we've been to Bromham, we've been to Laycock, we've been to Hilperton, we've been to Patchcroft Mead, we've been to Holt, and we've been covering those services. And then also there's been actually I'm going to ask Teresa if she'll come in and say this one, which is the above and beyond stuff.
Yeah.
Go on, Teresa, you on.
Well, firstly, what I wanted to say before we get to above and beyond was how safe it is. Every single one of those jobs you saw, we know which volunteer did it, whose house they went to. They have a code word. We have ID badges. We've got T-shirts. There were some scammers about. So from a safeguarding point of view, we know who's going where. And if a volunteer wakes up one morning with a cough or lost their taste or smell, the new thing, then we're able to, from one message, take over that person's shopping and prescription runs and everything they were doing. The above and beyond, when it was really hot a few weeks ago, someone went and put a gazebo up in someone's garden so that they could sit out in the sunshine, but it wasn't too hot. We've had someone over Easter who really fancied some hot cross buns and they couldn't find them in the store, and they went back 4 days later and left them on the doorstep. We've had a light bulb that needs changing, which was nothing, but it meant a lady couldn't see in the dark to get onto a stair lift to go to the bathroom. We've had a loft hatch collapse in a bungalow in Whitley, and the lady couldn't get to the bathroom in a bungalow. All those kind of things that are over and above. You know, if a volunteer gets to the door and someone says, "I didn't hear you properly, my mobile phone charger isn't working properly," they just go and get them a mobile phone charger. It's just been, you know, we could go on and on and on. Yeah. It's been phenomenal what people have been doing.
Yeah. And just to come in on that, I think one of the things that is happening here that is really helpful is that it isn't just in a small area of the town or in a parish, that the community response has been able to reach out, because we do have a community that is spread and looks to different places for different services. And I know that particularly people, for instance, in Scene are very grateful, and those who are even outside the community area, and I know one who John helped with, are hugely grateful for prescriptions coming out of the town where people can't get into the town for various reasons.
And that's one of the key things. Sorry, who was coming in there?
I was just going to say the double benefit on the prescription run is that it was 100 prescriptions last week in 1 week, 5 days. And the point of that is that 100 people didn't go into the pharmacies. Yeah. 2 people went to all the pharmacies in Melksham every day and collected them, put them in a hub, and then a person went to Bower Hill and Scene, a person went to Whitley and Atworth, and a person went around town. So the pharmacies, it's been a huge boon for the pharmacies, the GPs, the post office, all of those organisations hand out the number and the leaflet. And we have massively kept down the amount of people that are going into the food banks and the pharmacies. Certainly in those few weeks of lockdown where it was absolutely essential travel only, we've managed to get much smarter and have a coordinated approach than it be a scattergun, and made sure that which was one of the other reasons of setting it up. One, so it was safe, there was some safeguarding there, but also so that some volunteers in their road that have come forward weren't completely overwhelmed, and what happened if they were then ill, and other people were underutilised. And this means that everybody can come forward for what they want to do and comfortable to do that day.
Okay, thanks for that. Back to you, John, for summing up.
I think everything that needs to be said has been said. As I said, I really want to put on record my thanks to the councils for their support in making it happen. It has been incredible. Oh, I'm sorry. Robert wants to come in, if it's okay with you, Chair.
Yeah.
John and Jonathan, thank you very much. Yeah, as you know, I'm Melksham Without Parish Councillor, and having seen all the fantastic good works that have been done by this, what I'm really encouraged by is that this has been a joint venture between the two councils, and that's something that maybe 6 months ago we never would have thought might have happened. I think that in itself leads me to believe that there is great hope for the future between some form of amalgamation, whatever we call it, between the two councils. And I think it's been absolutely fantastic. Well done, you guys.
Thank you. That interesting point. If we just try and stick to the joint response, but interesting point. John, anything else?
No, I don't think so. Just a last thank you to all of our volunteers. You know, over 440 people have come forward. Some of them have been doing absolutely phenomenal jobs and work, and none of this, however good the town council, however good the parish council, however good the area board with its financial support, however good the technology we put in, none of it would happen if it wasn't for those volunteers who've come forward, given up their time, and have been prepared to put themselves out. So thank you.
Thanks very much, John. Okay, and thank you for the film and bringing it all alive. If we move on, I was at this point going to take a report from Sergeant Leighton Williams, who I don't think is with us.
No.
Okay, so we'll leave the police report to the end, just in case he does join us, and move on now to the report from the Young Melksham report. And we've got Jack Oatley, who's the lead trustee for youth work, and John again, who are going to do part of this Young Melksham report.
Yep, bear with me. I'm just getting the slides, Jack. Oh, I need to unmute you as well, don't I?
Thank you.
There you go, Jack.
Cheers. So hi, yeah, for those who don't know me, my name's Jack Oatley. I'm the lead trustee for youth work at Young Melksham. Thank you, John, for sorting out the slide. Oh, there we are. So yeah, our youth workers have been out with young people. Well, I've been out trying to find young people in the first couple of weeks, educating and informing them on the latest government guidelines. This was happened because Wiltshire Police gave us permission. Without that permission, we wouldn't have gone out. But so thank you for them for doing that. Yeah, so our youth workers, as you can see there in blue, and I'm wearing blue tonight, have completed 40 hours of patrols, or 13 patrols since the 22nd of April. And that is after the first initial lockdown, because no one really knew what was going on in that first initial lockdown and what we were and weren't allowed to do. All of the youth workers have conducted COVID-19 training on detached youth work, so we're up to date on knowledge of what they're allowed to do, what they, how they can stay away from young people and all of that. So yeah, it's fantastic. John, if you could just go on to the next slide for me, please.
I will do.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. So I said that we've completed 40 hours of detached youth work, and how does that look like? Well, we haven't just focused on the main areas of town. We've gone out and about in the community, up to Giles Wood and Bower Hill, all the way up to Georgewood Gardens, to Primrose Drive nature area. And in the first initial stay-at-home lockdown, we actually seen very little numbers of young people out on the streets, which is quite promising, and which is good for us in the way that we thought we were going to see big groups of young people, but we didn't. Which brings me to how we are now, and in the stay alert guidelines, unfortunately, numbers have increased, which we knew it would increase, of young people on the streets. I would say before that we were seeing very little, and when I say very little, probably about 20 young people within 3 weeks. I was trying to see 20 young people over the 2 patrols in a week, or we do more than 2 patrols, but over 2 patrols in 1 week. So yeah, numbers are increasing, but we're just out there, letting them know about the 2 meters, making sure that they're kind of with one other friend. We're talking about young people, that's impossible. They're going to be out with their mates, and we know that. So we're just out there keeping them safe. So that gives a brief outline of what we're doing out on the streets. Now, if you do see us, we are wearing our Young Melksham hoodies, which are blue. We have got our Young Melksham ID badges on, with youth work team on the back of our hoodies. So don't be alert if you see a group of 3 or possibly 4 adults going around with going up to young people. It's us. John, if you could just go on to the next slide. So to combat the young people that are staying at home, who are going online and chatting to friends online, Let's be realistic. We don't think we're open youth club until the earliest September, possibly even later than that. So to combat this, what we've done is we decided to open up an online youth club, which is in the form of Facebook, Zoom, like ourselves today, just for get young people engaging, give them advice on staying safe online, get them involved in quizzes and challenges, and basically, be there and answer any of their questions if they've got any. Looking at that on Tuesdays and Thursdays, our Tuesdays we're going to mainly aim it for our year 5 and 6s, the younger age group who probably will be at home with their parents, don't know what to do, probably getting bored, so they can come in and join in with all their other peers like ourselves on here tonight, and join in with quizzes and games, etc. And then on the Thursdays for the older young people, so we're talking secondary school age young people, and just give them online safety tips, again Zoom parties, challenges, quizzes, and just engage with them. And we've got a good team behind us, for our youth workers who are focusing mainly on the online stuff. However, this does bring a challenge, and the challenge, of course, is funding. Like with all charities and yourselves with the community response group, it is funding. And of course, with Canberra being shut, we are missing £800 a week, and that's income through subs and tuck. So we are having to look away how we can make this financial stable for the future. If it is going to continue after September, and who knows when the lockdown will be. But yeah, so we're right there. We're still doing youth work in the community. We're still engaging with young people and just making sure they're safe and well, and be there for them. I think that sums it all up, really. John, I know you wanted to talk about the early help side of the support that we're giving.
Yes, just to build on the excellent work Jack and the team have been doing. We also have our early help and support service at Young Melksham, which of course is separate to the youth intervention project that the area board has worked with up at the school. This is our normal counselling service. The counselling service, of course, the one-to-one service has had to stop because you can't do one-to-one counselling at the moment. So we've migrated that over to a telephone-based service, and we are continuing to deliver the same therapeutic counselling that we were previously to the same number of young people, working our way through the waiting list that we have. In addition to that, we have started a new telephone drop-in service, which operates on a Tuesday and Friday afternoon, where young people are able to just call in and have a chat with a trained professional. It's a qualified counsellor, young people's counsellor, who will be on the end of the phone, and we'll have a conversation with those young people about whatever it is that's troubling them. This isn't therapeutic counselling, this is intervention work, but it's just about a young person who is perhaps reaching their own personal crisis point. It's an opportunity for them to talk to somebody, so they can email in or leave a telephone message at any time. That's a new dedicated phone number for this service that we have. And either we'll call them back, or Liz, the counsellor, will call them back on a Tuesday or Friday, or they can call back in. What we've also introduced, because some of the young people who are on our waiting list for the one-to-one therapeutic counselling have said they would rather undertake that counselling in a one-to-one manner once normality, whatever that is, returns, and we can have two people in the same room at the same time again. But what we are doing is we're doing fortnightly welfare calls to those people now, where they are happy for us to do them, and we have the means, i.e. a phone number from them, to be able to call them. So we're trying to keep in touch with those young people and just make sure that everything is okay with them. Where they haven't given us a phone number because they only ever, when they put in a referral, gave us an email address, we are sending out emails to them just to let them know that we're around. Yeah. So that's just a very brief update on the early help side of what's happening with Young Melksham. Thank you, Jack.
Thank you very much for that, John. does anybody want to ask any questions about the Young Melksham input? If so, raise your hand or let John know in chat.
Okay, I've got Teresa raving at me.
Okay, Teresa.
Hello. I don't have a question about Young Melksham because I'm a trustee of Young Melksham, but I was remiss in saying something a little bit earlier on the other one, which is we've just heard how there are databases and phone systems and websites and things that take all this technology, and I have been remiss personally of thanking John for that, John Hubbard, for both the Melksham Community Response and for Young Melksham. And at Young Melksham allowing the Melksham Response to piggyback off and use that database system. It is no mean feat to set up a website and a database and 14 people working from home in their spare room as a call centre and record all of the volunteers and all the users, whether they're from Young Melksham as young people or people that were needing prescriptions and reports, and those records have to be kept. And that wouldn't have happened without technology. And none of that technology would have happened without John. And I just think we've been remiss when we were saying thank you to everyone, or I was at the last section and on this one, for neither of those two things would have happened, I don't think, without John driving behind it. Because you can't, it was designed on the back of a fag packet one evening, literally. And everything that we asked for, templates, databases, websites, phone systems, appeared like magic. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Teresa. Well said. Anything else on Young Melksham before we move on to questions, the submitted questions? Okay, if we could move on to the submitted questions, and we had 3 questions submitted yesterday, but I didn't actually get them until today. The first one is a question from Graham Ellis asking for area board endorsement for a quite a long list of detailed sustainable transport aspirations for the area. I don't think we can go through them one by one. Graham, you're there. Do you want to say, do you want to come in at this point?
Oh, hang on. Okay.
Okay, thank you, John.
We've still got the screen on, John.
Yeah, I'm just trying to work out. It seems to have taken away the option. I will sort it. Keep going.
Okay, no worries.
I keep going?
Yes,
yeah,
please
Graham,
do.
crack on.
Right. Firstly, huge thank you to everybody who's been doing all this stuff so far. It is very good to see that and to see it going on. I noticed people talking about going on long after the lockdown and bringing the positives here. I've been out a couple of times, only a couple of times, for exercise, cycling and walking around. It's lovely to see the clean air. It's lovely to see all the bicycles. Let's take advantage as we restart. There is £2 billion of government money for cycles. There is money for buses. There is money for trains, so that we have the clean air and we can keep that clean air. There's something like 40,000 people a year in this country die prematurely because of dirty air. Let's take advantage of that and move forward as we come forward. The items I've listed there, those really aren't details I put down. Those are one-liners. Very happy to work with them. Very happy to help explain them. But the opportunity is coming up now to start things back better for the future.
Graham, thank you. I have circulated those to the other area board members, and I think the best thing we can do is have a look at those and then come back to you on them and then see how we can take them forward.
Please ask me for details on any one of them.
Okay, thank you for that. Moving on to the next question. This was a question from Graham McNally, effectively asking whether the area board would and the council can cease work on the Melksham bypass. And the answer that I've looked through today is that I don't think we can, because it is government money that has been allocated to this project, and regardless of legal challenges to DFT, the Department of Transport, Department for Transport. These things happen all the time, and actually we do need to move forward as with the authority we have at the moment. Should that change, then clearly the pace and the direction will change. But at the moment, as I mentioned in the transport report, feasibility and all sorts of studies are going on, and route studies, and it will go out for consultation in due course. I don't think Graham was going to join us tonight, but I think I've just answered his question, and I did circulate the answer to members of the board this afternoon. Okay, the last question was a police question, and I haven't had the second part of it. This came from Pat Cook, who was asking about antisocial behaviour in a particular area, but the difficulty is that we didn't have the particular area. We did go back and ask for some pinpointing, didn't get it. So at the moment we're going to have to put that on hold. But I will make sure that is passed on to Leighton Williams, and we will try and get back to you with an answer for that. That then brings us to the any other business, and the first area. I still don't think we've got Leighton Williams with us, have we?
No.
No. Okay, we'll have to pass. There is a detailed police report. John, I know you prepared 1 or 2 slides on this. I think it might be useful for people to see what the county and the community area police areas of concern are and areas of concentration. Do you want to just put those up so people can see where we are?
Yeah. So this particular graph, which was in the police report, was an update on really the types of crime across the whole of the county that they have been dealing with a comparator of 2019 against 2020. So I suspect the message they want to give there is the fact that there's less of it. I'm assuming that this would be comparable time periods that we're measuring here. So then there was a second graph that they gave us, which was a totality of a breakdown of the types of crime that's been reported in the last 12 months. Now, this is across the whole of Wiltshire. Yeah, well, that says what that says. I think the interesting thing on that is that the next graph that we have is that in the Melksham area, where you can do a comparator of the different types of crime. And the whole of that report is available, and I'm sure, Chair, we'll be able to find a way of making that accessible for people to be able to see.
Yeah. I think that's good.
What I'll ask is Peter to send it out with the weekly community briefing, can't he?
Yes, we can put the report and these slides out with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for that, John. So if we move on to any other business, and is there anything that anybody would like to ask, anybody would like to raise? And if you would like to come in, please indicate, and then you can be picked out to speak.
Sue Mortimer.
Hi, Sue.
Hi. Just Graham talking about clean air and that, it's got me thinking. Like I go jogging my 5K, and my speed and my recovery time has got much better, and I think it's due to the lack of pollution. And what's been nice to see is families cycling out. I don't know if there's just any way that we could capitalize on this just by somehow making like local lanes and all areas like that are just I don't know, make them, I don't know, 20 mile an hour limit and access only, so people can go on their rides to Laycock with their families still without, you know, too much worrying about it. I don't quite know who I would have to put that to, so I'm just saying.
If I can help slightly there, the government has made funding available to local councils to introduce cycling priority routes, and the council has put that out for consultation. Wiltshire Council put that out for consultation. He's looking for suggestions. You know, I think it's probably unlikely that we get a cycle lane down the A350, but there may be other routes that may be suitable, parallel or near or whatever. And it is worthwhile thinking outside the box and just looking at where we might capitalise, as you suggest, on this quiet time. But anyone else want to pick that up?
Terry Welsh has got her hand up. So Terry, you're unmuted.
Right, thank you very much.
We can't see you, Terry.
Right, oh, hang on, what am I supposed to do?
There's a little video icon.
Oh, right, start video, right.
There we go, we can see you. That's
Terry.
Right, okay, right. Today I was contacted by somebody living in Hampshire Place and talking about the green environment and things, and saying that there are a lot of areas now that are obviously not being cut. I think a lot of them areas are by Selwood. But can we ask Selwood, or do we feel it's necessary to reduce some of the grass cutting and to leave some areas more natural? Because we can all see the amount of wildflowers that are coming through. And having got to this stage by one means or another, it would be a shame to just chop all their heads off them. Now, I understand Wiltshire Council are doing, you know, they want to reduce their grass cutting and things, but can we also persuade people like Green Square, people like Selwood to reduce their grass cutting for the benefit of all?
I think that's a point well made, and I do know that there are some counties who deliberately don't cut quite a lot of their grass verges precisely to allow the wildflowers to develop. The issue with housing providers could be tricky. There may be a requirement, and of course one person or not, even a majority wanting the area not to be cut might not satisfy one or two who maybe have it in their rental agreement. So it's something but it is something that is well worth looking at, because that again may be something that comes out of this lockdown that is positive, and it's something we could take away to look at, but it would need to be a direct approach to the those responsible for those particular areas. You know, and I'm sure, given the right approach and with a clear majority of those living in the area, they probably would say, yeah, if we don't have to cut it, we won't cut it.
So who will actually...
Go on then, Terry.
Well, I was going to say,
No, let's do Terry first, and then we'll do you, Safi, just to finish. Go on, Terry.
Right, who will make this approach? Will the area board, or are you going to leave it to individuals?
Well, I think, would it not... Most of the grass cutting, is it area board? Is it town council? Maybe, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll take it forward. We've got an area board councillors meeting on Friday. Let's take it forward and think about it, and think about how we might get this to happen. But I think it's a great idea.
Jonathan, Safi was wanting to come in.
Safi.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Guernsey and Channel Islands, and this is a massive thing that they've been doing over the last few years, and the engagement they've got from the public and from housing associations has been huge to actually read wildlife areas. And I have to say, I mean, you know, walking around at the moment, the fact that the cemeteries are looking so beautiful. You've got cut grass areas, you've also got wildflower areas. You know, it can be done, and we do, you know, completely agree. This is the time we need to make these changes to our environment and do our best. I mean, you know, this virus has really brought into focus that we need to look after this planet, and you know, we can do this. And yeah, that's something I would massively support, is that we push people into taking care of their areas and the wildlife.
Okay.
Can I just come in?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Anyone else?
Very quickly, just to say, I think from Wiltshire Council's perspective, I think everyone's sort of pushing at an open door, really. I mean, Wiltshire Council have been wanting for about a year, have been looking for areas, of course, that they can cut less frequently into in order to encourage a more biodiverse environment. And I know that there's various programs in the town as well, isn't there, for rewilding too. So it's, I think we're moving in this direction, but I think it's great that if we can get everyone together and push a little bit harder, we can achieve more.
Okay. Thank you, Phil. Anyone else want to come in on that? Okay, thank you for that.
Sorry, hang on, John Glover.
John, hi.
Hi there, thank you. It's really going back on cycleways. There are cycleways through some of the new and older estates around Melksham, and there are some cut-throughs. But when you come into town, if you're a new cyclist, you don't know the back ways, but you know the main routes. And the main route from Bower Hill is Spa Road, and from Berryfield is Semmington Road, King Street. And although you've got some form of cycleway coming partially into the town, it then disappears, and you're left with actually no signs saying that the footpath is no longer a cycleway, and nothing to show you on the road that you could go in safely. I just wonder whether a cheapish alternative to footpaths, to cycleways, would be something like it's done in Devizes on the London Road. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll just write that down. We'll have a look at that. That's an interesting point. We'll have a think about that and come back on that. Anything else?
Sue waiting to talk.
Go on, Sue.
Yeah, sorry, just talking about cyclists, it's just reminded me, I've had a couple of people said to me, would I raise the fact that now the town bridge is open, people can't sort of like step into the road out of the way, that whether we ought to have a sort of like just keeping to the left, you know, just keep to the left going over and coming back so that people are safer. And also I've had people complaining to me, I don't know why they're complaining to me, that they've asked me if I could do anything about people are cycling on the pavement as they go over the bridge, and there's nowhere for people to keep their 2 meters safe distance. So I don't know whether there could be any signs for, you know, pedestrians only over the bridge or something like that. I don't know, because I think that used to be part of the cycleway going over the town bridge. I'm not sure.
Okay, well, we'll take up pavement cycling on the town bridge and see what can. But I think that would be a town council matter, wouldn't it?
Yeah, sorry, I'm not really used to these meetings.
I mean, we don't want to tread on the town council's toes. I think that would be something the town council would need to take up in the first instance. Anything else? Anything else?
On that.
Oh. Go on, Linda.
I just want to talk the issue with the town bridge and social distancing. I've had many calls and inquiries about that. People concerned that they can't. There was an idea to do one way in and one way out, but that provides the people who going out of town having to cross at the bottom of Avonside, and that blind is it's a blind bend almost if you're a pedestrian trying to cross the road. So I spoke to Highways yesterday, and they're going to put it forward for this funding from central government to see what could be explored. So it's not safe to ask for one way in and one way out whenever I've used it, I've waited for people to come over, and the majority are doing that. It's just the odd few that maybe aren't. And I'll take the point back about cyclists as well.
That's really helpful. Thank you very much, Linda. Okay, anything else that anybody would like to raise as a matter of importance?
Oh, John Glover again.
John.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, following on from what Sue and Linda said, that's a good example of where the cycleway, which comes down from the underpass along the quiet road, then goes onto the pavement, comes past the Avon and stops dead, and you have to go into the road.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks very much, John. That's, I think, pretty much draws us to towards the close. The one thing that I would like to just add is that several of us attended a Wiltshire Council cabinet meeting yesterday, and one of the things that was raised as a matter of concern was the potential overspend as a result of COVID, and the answer to that was made very clear, that we do not know whether there is a potential overspend or not, because we don't know what government support there is going to be. However, what the leader did make very clear is that for the foreseeable future, there would be that there is no change to current service delivery, and that would not be happening for the foreseeable future, if required at all. And that was made crystal clear in answer to the question. But I'd just like, in closing, to thank everybody for coming on. We've had 30 odd people. I think it's been a very useful, I hope it's been a useful update and use of technology. If people want to do it, we could think of doing it again and maybe publicise it slightly better, because we were slightly constricted and it became a little bit last minute, for which I apologise, but we were having a little difficulty in moving moving forward to do it, but we've done it, and I think it's worked. I think it's worked well, and thank you very much for joining, and John, thank you for the technology.
No worries.
Good night.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.